I'm going to bring it back a little to what we're doing here at Transition Together and how that relates to the wider work around transition that we're all involved in. So an important element of the work of transition, as Rob mentioned in the opening, has been a recognition that our inner and our outer worlds are entwined. So that means making outer systemic changes must also involve some kind of inner shifts. This is what we might know as inner transition, developed by Sophie Banks and others, drawing from a broad range of study and cultural traditions, and which continues to be developed by transitioners all over the world. So we might understand inner transition as being about creating healthy culture at all levels of scale. Our personal culture, our group culture, and the culture within communities, movements, the world, and ecosystems more generally. Alongside this, a key principle of just transition is equitable redistribution of power and resources, building new systems that are good for all people and not just a few. And this involves understanding and then transforming current and historic social inequities based on things such as race, class, gender, ability, and multiple other forms of oppression. We're all socialized by and live and work in systems and institutions that have deeply embedded oppression at their core. Some of us are marginalized by these systems, while others are privileged by them, which can make this work challenging, but is also why it's deeply necessary. Because whether we're conscious of it or not, all of these systems will show up in us. They'll show up in how we relate to each other, in who participates in our groups, in whose ideas we build projects around, how we make decisions together, and how we experience and behave during periods of conflict. A key practice of the transition movement is coming together in our communities to imagine new futures, sowing the seeds and creating the conditions for those new futures to come alive in the here and now. And at the same time, systems of oppression are setting limits and policing who does and doesn't belong, what is and isn't the right way to be or the right way to live. So without shining a light on inequities, we actually limit the potential and the potency of our visions for the future, what we can reimagine, and how we rebuild our world together. When in our team, we set out on the path of exploring what a just transition might look like at a community level, it was clear that we couldn't just focus on delivering training, resources, and events without ourselves inwardly looking at systems of oppression and power imbalances and how they will even exist in ourselves and also in us as a staff team, because that will affect then what we put out into the world. We want to ensure that we're integrating just transition principles into our work holistically, and that means exploring it from the inside out. So this isn't solely about how we might behave and act in ways that aren't oppressive. It's not just about saying the right words in the right places. This is much more deeply about how we can build more humanizing communities, how we can practice limitless imagination in the ways that we might want our communities to look, to be fed, to have energy, to move around. So last week, the Transition Together team embarked on an anti-oppression learning journey led by a collective called HELD. And over the next 4 months, as a team, we'll be learning together about systems of oppression, identity and power, relationship dynamics, tools of oppression, as well as anti-oppressive and liberatory practices. We're doing this through a series of deep dive conversations, supported with resources and activities along the way to expand our learning and understanding. We're doing it over 4 months. It's 6 sessions over 4 months, but we wanted to allow for a spaciousness between those sessions to allow us for greater personal reflection and more opportunity to really integrate the learning. And our experience so far of being held by HELD has been that we've been held with dignity, care, compassion, expertise, and humility. It's created a container for us to be brave in this work together. We hope to go deep. We hope to support each other, learn more about ourselves, our dynamics, and our culture. And most importantly, for all of you, we're going to be weaving what we uncover and learn into all of the work that we do in supporting the transition movement to reimagine and rebuild our world. Thanks.